Greetings, everybody. Back with more Pokemon Gold and Silver. I'm still here brawling with this Umbreon. I'm getting flashbacks of battles with Karl here a little bit.
I'm regretting my decision to go back and get a Snorlax.
Get a Snorlax?
Yeah, this Snorlax is kind of special.
You got a Snorlax?
Yeah, I have a Snorlax. Sloth is a little, he needs some TLC, I'll just put it that way.
When did you get Snorlax?
A while back, before I even fought Whitney.
Wow.
Like,
you mean Slowpoke?
Yeah, Slowpoke. I said
I was like, Snorlax?
Yeah. It's been a long week and it's only Tuesday, so...
Yeah, I know.
I mean, they're both fat, they're both slow.
Yeah, but comparing mass with Slowpoke and Snorlax, that's huge. I think it's crazy with Munchlax to Snorlax. Like, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
When did Munchlax come into play? What?
Third gen?
Mm.
Yeah. No. Fourth? No. Either third or fourth gen. I can't.
I didn't see Munchlax until I got back into it, and I was like, what? When did he have a, I guess you say beginning form? Or
baby
form?
Yeah.
So, awesome. So where are you at right now?
I'm in the Burned Tower.
Burned Tower. So
the lore of this is that there's the two towers. One is the Bellsprout Tower and one is the Burned Tower.
Yeah. That's really a thing in Japan, isn't it? There's like two towers.
I think it's actually based on some history. There was a tower that burned down.
Yeah.
From what I understand, the original idea was this: there was going to be a silver tower and a gold tower. And that was kind of gonna fucking hyperfang. Gonna kind of be part of the plot.
I got you.
You know what? I'm gonna kill this guy and then I'm gonna be done.
I'm not the only one dealing with that.
Yeah.
Also, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Ring the bell for the notifications. You know the Twitter, of course. If you don't, Second Player Show, #2ND. Thank you guys for your support. It's awesome.
Yeah. If you like our videos, feel free to leave us a like. It really
means
helps.
Yeah.
YouTube is kind of weird with how it does things, and right now it's liking likes. So
yeah, those likes mean a lot. So thumbs up. Like Arnold going in the lava, and then you do it look perfect right there. Oh, my bad. Cheesy. All right.
These are worse than Zubat.
Wow. So Vaporeon. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. Let's fight water with water, you jerk. Yeah, come on.
Oh, nothing like a water slap fight.
Except I'm not gonna use water. I'm gonna use rage.
I like after the special physical split, Vaporeon became a pretty good Pokemon. I think Vaporeon was pretty good in this gen, but not as good as it ended up.
Would you say Vaporeon is the best one stats-wise, or all around with like its moveset and everything?
No, it's a super defensive.
Super defensive.
And with some of the newer moves like Aqua Ring, where it restores HP. I'm drawing a blank on the move.
Yeah, there's a lot of moves.
Fog to remove status effects, stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's a good Pokemon for that.
Makes sense. It makes sense.
I know a lot about the Eevee line because years ago, 4th gen and early 5th gen, I had some friends. We would meet once a week to play Pokemon. And I didn't really play during the 3rd gen, so I was kind of getting back into it.
Right.
And after a while, we started doing theme nights, where our team had to meet a certain theme.
Kind of like what we would do.
Yeah.
I get it, where you got it now. Nice.
So, and one of our theme nights was Eevee team. The idea was at least half of your team had to be Eevee. Well, I went, Eevee or Eevee Evolution.
Yes, right.
I went whole hog and did a full team of Eevee.
I've always wanted to do that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've done some research and I've asked if it's viable. Like, I've actually wanted to pick up a Pokemon game and play through the whole thing like that.
Right.
But a lot of people, from what I've read, say it can be pretty hard.
Yeah. especially early on. I think that this is two towers, two Pokemon, but when one burned down, both Pokemon flew away and never took. So yeah, this is two towers. I think I said Sprout Tower last episode, but I meant the other tower because I'm scatterbrained and forget. I guess I'll take on the geishas.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get something from this. Jolteon. Man, you just ruined my plan. I'm trying to get experience on Lolong.
Larion. You know, I actually think Sloth might be good for this one.
Yeah. I think so. Go ahead. Shock me. I'll take it. Hopefully it doesn't kill me. Okay, now I'm going to trade him out. Where's that EXP share when you need it? Alright, and then let's see what your electric sparks do against rock.
I want to say the EXP share is coming up. I looked it up because I couldn't fucking remember when you get it. So after the Lake of Rage.
Yeah, that guy in the Pokemon Center said that too.
Yeah,
randomly.
After you do the Lake of Rage stuff, you get a scale from a Gyarados, and you give that Gyarados to someone, and they give you the XP share.
Nice.
So, I mean,
Gyarados, the Pokemon that would make me freak out.
You were swimming the lake, and a Gyarados showed up. The water would be a little warmer. I think I've already made that joke.
Yeah, and I said it'd be more brown too. Because, no.
Come on, Sloth.
Now, with all this money I've been making from these battles, I'm going to have to go buy some stuff. Oh, nice. I actually like it when, your mom in this game buys you stuff, because it's normally pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I think she has a chance of buying you items for your room at home. Which is kind of neat.
That's cool. With his ride-on. Always with his ride-on.
Offset attack.
Yeah.
I really don't want to swap Sloth out because this is a fight Sloth. Yeah, can win and gain experience and level up, and he really needs it. So
that's why you do
water
it.
gun. Yes, finally.
That's why you do it.
I have a water type move.
Ooh.
Sir?
Yep, that's why you do it.
You have to beat the gym though.
Yeah, but that's where you get that item, so beating the kimonos, the geishas.
Did we get strength?
I don't think so.
Wow. I can't remember where it is.
I may not have come across it yet. I might have to do some research.
I think getting the last badge we did allows you to get strength. But
yeah, because I know we have cut. See how many HMs we have. 8 HMs.
Oh, this is going to be a fight.
No, we have cut, surf, and flash. That's what I have.
2 psychic types battling it out.
2 psychic types. See, we're doing it a little backwards here because now I'm going to go where you were.
Well, you can't get very far without strength.
Oh, okay.
Or rock smash without rock smash.
Well, we have rock smash.
We do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's just I don't know what TM number it is. That's the problem. Because they don't really... Oh, no, they do. Oh, I thought I had it. Did I teach it to a Pokemon? Did I teach it?
I mean, it wouldn't... If it were anyone, it would be, yeah, Chop.
Well, seems we don't have anything to smash rocks with. Seems that way. Let's see what's up here. What's up, Grandpa?
This happened when I was young. I suddenly turned black. That flying Pokemon was blocking out the sun. I wonder what that Pokemon was. It was like a bird and a dragon.
That reminds me of a long time ago.
So,
that's like the only thing I remember from that game.
Gleaner. If y'all haven't seen it, we tried to play Gleaner Heights, which is a combination of Harvest Moon meets existential horror.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got good reviews. The problem is the gameplay is kind of slow, and we never really got to the existential horror part that was promised. And
Just little glimpses.
little glimpses, which is nice, but we put in quite a bit of time, and it's hard to keep a Harvest Moon-like game interesting because you're doing the same thing every day.
Yeah.
So we kind of ran low of things to do.
Yep.
And we couldn't keep it interesting, so we moved on.
Yeah. It's just funny because you saying that voice, it just brought it all back. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. So one of the things in the game is there's the characters you talk to, and the more you talk to them, the more they like you, and the more things that happen.
Right.
And that's kind of one of the problems is you have to talk to them a lot, but they always say the same thing.
Yeah.
So the blacksmith, every time you
That's
talk
what it
to
was.
him,
Yeah.
he'd be like, "A long time ago, this was a thriving city," and it's like every day he'd walk up to him and talk. "A long time ago."
We just laughed. It was just, it was so cool. Oh no.
I am kind of disappointed that we never we left that game unfinished.
I am too, because I really feel like there was a lot to it.
Yeah, it's one of those games where I feel like we scratched the surface and we didn't get really super deep into it.
Yep. Yep.
The problem is we were looking at, like, we had just made it to the end of spring in the game, I think. Or did we make it to the end of summer?
I'm not sure.
I think we made it to the end of spring. We made it one season in the game. About 30 episodes.
That's how much we're... Oh, my God.
We did 26 episodes of that, man.
And all I can remember is the old man.
Which says a lot.
And I remember other things, but it was the things, like you said, it was the same thing. And what was that old crazy guy's name? He'd always talk about...
Oh, Tobias.
Tobias. He was always talking about, like, crazy stuff.
There's people in the woods stealing my underwear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's awesome. You know, I think that game actually would... We may have to go back at that.
One day.
Yeah.
If we can figure out a way to play it where it's not so drab.
Right, right.
The main reason we dropped it is we weren't getting very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, I don't blame people.
Yeah.
We also weren't doing face cam at the time, and our mic was kind of really bad.
Yeah, we've made some improvements. So if you guys want to check that out, check it out. Gleaner Heights or any of our older stuff. So
not gonna force you.
Yeah. Also, just so you know, if you go past Human Fall Flat, it's gonna be Yeah, I wasn't very good at we just started.
Blocking out noise in the mic.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, like, so if you guys want to hear something really cool, actually. So we have the same mic now that we did when we started.
From the beginning.
The only difference is I've gotten better at modifying audio. So it's the same kind of crappy $14 mic, but I think at this point I've got it sounding as good as we possibly can, and we are looking into purchasing a much better mic.
Yeah.
But it's a good example of the difference that proper audio editing, proper audio mixing can make.
And experience.
Right. Because before this, I had experience in audio mixing and leveling and stuff, but in kind of a different sense. I come from a theater background to a certain extent, so I would do a lot of live mixing, and that's kind of a different ballgame. So I went into it knowing what I knew, but I had a lot to learn. So I can't even remember what I'm fighting now. Oh, Umbreon, yes. Yep.
I think we talked about this not long ago, but this whole experience has been awesome because I feel like everything that we've learned just all together, it's been a great ride, and I'm looking forward to learning more, you know, because that's inevitable. Like, my grandmother, she's 72, 73. I'll never forget the best piece of advice she gave me. This was just recently. You know, sometimes in life you go through stuff and it's hard, and I was like, I'm tired of, like, learning the hard way. You know, I'm tired of dealing with stuff. And she goes, I'm 70 something years old and I still do it. And in my head, I was like, oh no. So we're gonna learn until we're gone. So, but it's a good thing. If you embrace it, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's not always the best thing to hear.
No.
But
no, it's not.
Screwing up, failing, making something that isn't quite as good as you wanted it to be.
You learn from it.
Yeah, if you hold yourself back because you're going to screw up or because something isn't quite how you want it, you're never going to learn how to do it.
You'll never. Never.
And, that's kind of dime store. Like, everyone says something like that, but it's
the truth. It's the truth.
So, yeah, I mean, if you absolutely want to go back and watch our old stuff,
yeah,
that's the best way I can suggest doing it.
Yeah.
Go back, watch some of our old stuff and compare it to now.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of changes I want to make. But like we said earlier, or it might have been previous episode, neither of us have a whole lot of time. So I make as many changes and graphic changes and things like that I can, but I also try to keep it within a certain level.
Mm-hmm.
I do as much as I can within reason.
Yeah.
So
and you do an awesome job, man, and it's something that I know we're, like I said, we're going to keep growing, and we have a lot of things that we're actually wanting to do, and we're constantly working on things. So it's always great. A lot of brainstorming for sure.
In the past I've talked about wanting to do some VR stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I have a system because I'm a massive nerd. And I think I finally wrapped my head around the fact that no matter how much I want to do a review of Duck Season, I can't beat the game.
Right. It sounds brutal. It sounds brutal.
So, but I think I've come up with a way to move past that and move on to something else. So that is something that we're going to have on the channel. It's going to be a little different than our usual content.
Yeah.
Very different, actually, just because Let's Plays in VR are...
I bet that's...
So, I'm pretty good with VR at this point. I use it frequently. I don't get motion sick anymore. I still get a VR hangover, which is something a lot of people don't talk about. But the amount of sitting down and recording that you would have to do a full playthrough, I'm not exactly good with that.
Yeah.
I can maybe play for an hour and a half, and then I start to... it's weird. I don't get sick, but it's... The best way I can describe kind of the VR hangover is if I play a lot of VR one day.
Yeah.
When I go to bed that night, usually at some point in the night, I wake up and go, hands.
Yeah.
It really kind of messes with your perception in a very weird way.
Yeah.
And it's... I guess it's something people get used to over time. It just takes a while.
Yeah.
And,
I know the first time I came over and I tried it out, and it was awesome. Like, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. But I could tell, like, the more you would do it, I could see it would almost blur reality and virtual, and then I could see it doing that.
Right.
Kind of like that old school movie Lawnmower Man.
Yeah. It's... there's a lot of silence out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I could kind of see...
Dang, man.
It's an interesting experience, and it's something I want to talk about. Just because there's games and there's experiences in VR that you can't get anywhere else.
No.
And it's kind of a fledgling kind of thing right now. It's developers, creators are just kind of wrapping their head around.
Yeah.
I played a couple of VR games this previous weekend. Just ones that landed on my radar. you can beat this guy, man.
Oh no, I got it.
Yeah.
I was trying to put him to sleep one more time before he took that one out.
Right.
Or he, yeah.
Just to, I'm going through trying to see which ones might be worth doing something about.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons I want to talk about VR games is what happened this previous weekend.
Yeah.
I got 2 games because I don't have a whole lot of extra money to spend on games. And VR games, they tend to run about $10 or $20. Both of these were kind of on the more expensive side. But they both kind of look like games that were up my alley.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, let's see, Sleep Powder.
You know what's funny? Not to mean to cut you off, but naming my rival Ken kind of makes sense because in Street Fighter, Ken is the arrogant, cocky one. Yeah. So I'm like, that's cool. But anyways, the 2 games you got, you said.
Yeah. So one, its premise was bow and arrow game, kind of.
Oh.
There's a game.
I'm replaying that other one.
Yeah, a free game called The Lab, which it's made by Valve.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of very portally, but there's a game where you use a bow and arrow, and it's kind of like a castle defense. You're up on a castle, and you're shooting little guys as they come walking past. And it's really fun. It's really well made, but it's kind of shallow. Like it's a tech demo. Nothing more. Like you can get a high score. You can do wave after wave, but it's not like complex.
Yeah.
Well, this game, Night, KNITNIGHT.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Night. Night.
Looked to be that game with a little more depth, like different enemy types. Which the Lab's Arrow game has different enemy types too, just not very many.
Mm-hmm.
Like Night has ones that shoot back, things like that. Different arrows. Magical effects, things like that. It looked really cool.
Right.
Picked it up. With another game, and I'll get to that one in a bit. But loaded it up, and while the premise is great, I was really disappointed because when you draw the bow and arrow in the game, the second you knock the arrow and pull back, your bow starts doing this.
Wow.
And I spent about an hour on forums trying to figure it out. It's just something that happens. And I mean, I don't know if you can shoot straight when you're doing that, but yeah. So that is a game that I may return to later, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to give them another try. Like, that's the game they put out, and I can't remember if it's in early access. I mean, half the games on Steam are in early access.
Right.
I know the other one I picked up was. The other one I picked up, Crazy Alchemist. The main reason I picked it up was it's kind of an alchemy game, and I was... There's kind of a running joke I have in my head about VR games. Like, the best sellers have anime titties in them. Like, that's just...
It makes sense, I'm sure.
And that's one thing. Like, on their main page, they have a bunch of them. I'm like, okay, well, it's an alchemy game where you mix things to create items, and I kind of like that, and then I can, joke about anime titties. Because, I mean,
it's all over anime too. So.
Yeah, I mean, it sells. It sells anime. It sells games. I mean,
beer.
Yeah,
everything.
So I was like, okay, loaded in, which that game probably had the weirdest rezzing experience of my like time playing VR. Like, normally games try to be really neutral as they're loading and, not try to overwhelm you with being in some sort of void or something, unless it's a kind of a horror game. And this one forced me to turn all the way around backwards while it was loading, which the problem is if you have a bunch of things up while it's loading, you have frame rate stutter. And frame rate stutter in VR, you might as well be punching someone in the stomach. Because it's like... and yeah, it was... And then it made me turn all the way back around while this frame stutter's going on. So that was an immediate nick.
Wow.
The next thing was... It's an alchemy game, so you mix stuff, and it's really kind of complex. Like, you have to figure out the system.
This sounds like something you'd play, dude.
Yeah.
Plague Knight.
Except it didn't. It kind of gave like a step by step of what you were supposed to do. Except nothing was I mean, it was in English, but it wasn't in English. It was using English words.
Just poor English.
I can't even say poor English. None of the sentences made sense. Clicking mailbox time, activate. It was like clicking mailbox time, activate mission or something. I was like, what? And so and it was right here in your face, obscuring half of what you could see. Like, how y'all are seeing my face right now, that's how I was seeing the game world.
Yeah.
With this message, wandering around, like, trying to figure out what to do.
That sucks.
I bumped into my table, tripped over my couch. Then I finally figured out how to teleport around, so I did that. And then I activated mailbox time. And the mission was to make healing potions. I think they were called treatment vials.
Treatment vials?
So, kind of English for healing potions. So, and then it was like, going to library, meet guilds. I was like, what? And so I went to the library, and I looked around. I'm like, there's no guilds here. There's a wizard. And I walked up, and he was apparently the guilds I was supposed to meet. And
the guilds.
And then it brought up a menu to buy things. And it was like buying ingredients. I'm like, okay, so I was like, so what are the ingredients that I need? So I had to go back. Each time I have to go through a loading screen to my alchemy lab, open the book, click on the healing potions, basically. Go to ingredients, and it doesn't fucking tell me. It just has a little symbol. So I go back, buy items that have those symbols, go back. Then I'm like, okay, so how do I open the menu to get these items out? So, and then it was like, cauldron brew time. I'm like, okay, so I guess I'm supposed to put all the items in the cauldron. So I go over to the cauldron, and a big menu pops up. I'm like, okay, so I guess I have to pull the items out that I need to put in the cauldron. So I click on the items, and they immediately drop into the cauldron. And then, like, it explodes. And it makes a failure sound. And then I don't have any money to buy any more ingredients. And that's when I realized, even though it's in VR, even though you stumble about, and I can deal with subpar English in a game.
Right.
Everything is menu-based. There's no reason for it to be VR.
I get you.
Other than you're wandering around in VR. But everything is menu-based. And in a game that's about alchemy in VR...
You know how cool that'd be if you looked down and you saw everything?
Yeah, and you pick... There's Dungeon Brewmaster. It's a game where you're like you're in a dungeon, and you're a bartender, and you mix things alchemically, and it's kind of that.
That'd be cool.
That's... So the review I had in mind for Crazy Alchemist, if it was actually going to be a game, was it's Dungeon Brewmaster, but with anime titties. Like, that was... And worst thing, in the 20 minutes I spent stumbling around in this game, I didn't see a single anime titty. Like,
just menus.
Just menus. And a wizard and this weird pig thing that had like snot dripping out of his nose. I think he was supposed to be my minion, but all he did was get in the way. Like, I don't know.
The menu right here.
Yeah. Like, seriously. So...
Oh, awesome. Well, we thank you guys for being here as Karl goes to the VR. We'll be back with more of that. Make sure you stay on us on Twitter, and we'll be right back. Thank you.